out. It's time to get some cards dealt. Players who look for action at the moment look for seat 4, Julian Thu. Don't know much about him, but he needs action. And Ram Vaswani needs action, but he's all about that. He's an action player.
Oh, he'll be playing really aggressively. He'll start. He's very short stacked. Ram's pretty good at playing a short stack. Okay, let's see what John's done here. He's got 10 Jack, 10 of hearts, Jack of diamonds. He's raised.
You'll not hear much talking from John Coughlin, the quiet man of the table. Done very well today. And the Ram always likes an ace.
Comes back to Ram.
With anything. With a joker he'd play it.
Re-raise to 30,000.
So with a 30,000 bet, he's not all in that.
No.
More
It's about
big
half
blind
his
folds,
stack.
comes back to John.
Okay,
Put in another 18,000.
so it's 18,000 to John to call.
Not that many players in front of him there. He knows he only needs to fold 1 or 2 players, but John has called it, so 2 players in this flop.
We see the flop.
Oh, and it's old school
Up
flop,
comes
and all
King,
cards at
Queen,
once.
8. John is first.
This is going to be interesting because John's flopped an open-ended straight draw here.
He
He's
checks.
checked it.
As we stand at the moment for Swanee,
Ram
ace high
announces
winning at the moment, but that
all in.
open-ended straight for Coughlin. He could be walking into something here. Vaswani goes all in. Maybe Coughlin just doesn't have enough chips to be calling this.
27,800.
So he's gone in for 57,800. It's a lot of money. I mean, I don't think it's difficult to say. I don't know John Coughlin's
68,000.
style of play. I think he looks as though he's considering calling this and taking a gamble.
And call.
Yep,
And he has called it. He has called it indeed. So we get an open-ended straight here. So we're looking, of course, at the 9.
120,000.
We're looking at the ace. Or indeed a jack or 10, of course, will take it for him as well. Let's have a look. Vaswani leading, ace high as we get the turn card, and it's a 5. That's no good for anyone.
5.
Vaswani leads with ace high. Can Coughlin hit his straight?
King.
And he hits the
Ram
king,
takes
which
the
is
ball.
not good enough for him. So Vaswani, a pair of kings on board, and the ace is the highest card out of the 3 left. Was that a bit boisterous of Coughlin calling that?
110,000.
No, I think he was taking a gamble. He wanted to. He thought, well, whatever. I'm going to try and hit a card here. Unfortunately, he didn't realise that so one of the cards was already in Ram's hand.
So already some nice action here at the final table. John Coughlin, say hello to the Hendon mob. Some more cards being dealt here, and it's a lovely little intimate arena we've got going here at the Merrion Casino, and everyone's stayed behind. Almost every player who's been knocked out has stayed behind, probably to see revenge being wreaked on the person who sent them to an early bath.
God, you waffle on.
Jamie folds.
So that's what you pay me for.
Raises to 8,000.
So we just said as well, Thu is, of course, is bottom of the chip count at the moment, but he likes some action in that Queen Jack.
It's a nice hand, a playable hand. Oh, Ram's.
Back to Ram on the button. He calls 8,000.
Any small raises like that, Vaswani likes to get in the action. He likes to be included. He likes to be on the telly and playing these hands. It's very much his game.
Yeah, and
the calls. With 3 players.
there's 3 players in this now, which is good.
And slight favourite, of course, the pair in the hand's always going to be two cards that aren't a pair. So Liffey slight favourite, but the flop, that's when we really see where we are with these 3 players. And now we see exactly where we are through flops. Not only the pair, but also the straight draw as well. He's now got the open-ended straight.
No, and he's played it really aggressively. He's got the middle pair with the open-ended straight draw and all his chips.
And Rory folds.
There we go, and then he takes the pot.
Lovely bet, and exactly what Thu needed. The card's being dealt, 7 players left. One of them's going to run off at the end of this with €250,000. But will they be from the greatest country in the world, i.e. Ireland, or will it be England? 4 English players still left. We've lost 1 Irish.
Okay, so they've all folded around to Ram, who's got an ace-9.
It's folded around to Ram.
Betting about
Ram
14,000.
raises to 14,000.
The backguard folders, we're back to Rory then in the small blind, and he's got a pair of jacks in his hand. He's going to want to see this.
That's interesting.
Rory calls.
Oh, he's just called.
14,000.
That's good. That's a good play. See whether an ace or a king comes on the flop. Okay, Jamie Drummond has folded.
As you'd expect, we get that flop. Will the jack beat? The jack is there.
Check 9. 2 down.
Trip jacks for Liffey against Ram. And
Oh, he's checked.
is he obviously the straight draw's got to be in his head, and even more so now, open-ended straight on the board. So of course the trip jacks will mean nothing against a queen or a 7.
So it's a dangerous flop. It's a very dangerous flop.
A bad flop for Liffey. The trip jacks would take it any other time. He's having to check top trips. Vaswani has to check it. He's only got the pair of 9s, and Liffey will be kicking himself with that flop.
Well, it stopped him. It stopped him from betting. It's a very scary flop for trips. But also, he's trying to get Ram to bet too. You know, there's method in his madness. You know, it looks as though he's checking, but he wants to get Ram to bet on that flop, and then suddenly the 8 came to terrify him.
So the river that flows through Dublin is the Liffey, and Liffey's certainly flowing around this table tonight. But 84,000 chips, certainly enough for Ram to come back into this game.
The Marion Casino, no limit Texas.
Yeah, he's fairly strongly placed. You know, he can still double up a couple of times, and he's well in there.
If I played against Ram and the blinds were 17,000, he had 1 chip left, I still wouldn't rule him out.
It's forward around to the big blind.
So what a story here. Alan Vincent doing very well indeed. He came to the final table in 3rd place. Didn't go too well at the start, but he's been picking up the chips. And he could be going head-to-head with Ram.
12,000 more, called by Ellen.
So we're in pot versus Alan versus Ram.
Ram and Ellen.
Let's have a look at this flop. No one's going to pair yet. The flop will be all tell, and we're about to hit something, and we do. We hit the king and the jack for Ram. This is a chance to make some serious chips.
We go 10. Alan can win with a 10 here.
That'll give him the straight, of course.
Oh, we can't win now.
The full house means nothing. Vincent's drawn dead. What's Vaswani going to do?
He checks.
And he checks it.
Trying to trap him. Oh, there.
Ellen bets 25,000.
And he's done just that. Vaswani's got an unbeatable hand. Vincent can't hit anything that'll help him. The full house is almost at the top of the tree. And he comes over the top of Vincent all in, and he's going to have to fold.
No, he can't call.
And he takes the pass. And he shows king
And
check.
we'll take a short intermission now while Vincent pulls his pants up. A great bet by Ram. He just waited, he kept checking, and it's a lesson in how to play an unbeatable hand. So we love this bet. We're watching it just like you at home, anxious to see what the players have got in their hand and what's going to happen. And 7-3 unsuited is dreadful, and that's why Rory Liffey has folded that. He's still, as I said many times, I do fancy him around this table. Maybe not the most experienced player, but he's on home turf, and we've seen a raise in the ace there, John. Vincent again, he's been playing very aggressively.
Yeah, it's a correct raise on the button. He's got an ace-8.
He sees just 2 players in front of him, but one of them is Ram Vaswani.
Yeah, okay, Ram's got a suited king. He's going to
50,000, small blind folds, and Ram and big blind calls the 15,000. We'll see a flop.
so
2 players.
let's see what the flop.
Flop is 4-9 king.
So the king comes out, Vaswani goes, he was right to call it, of course. He's probably calling it more for the suits than anything there, but he hits his king.
All in from Ellen.
And Vincent makes a serious bet here. He goes all in. He has absolutely nothing at the moment against Vaswani. Massive favourite for this hand. The 8's no good to him anymore. He's going to have to hit the ace. Has Ram got a read on him, John? That's the question. He's called it. He's called it. Vincent with his pants down. Alan Vincent makes what can only be seen in my eyes as a bluff.
Ram shows king 5.
It's what it's all about here, John.
No, it's a great bet by Alan, but Ram hit the top pair and had to call.
He needs the ace on the river. It'd be exciting if he did hit it. And he doesn't hit it at all. What a great call by the Hendon mob man. Ram Vaswani reads it perfectly. And that's a massive hit for Alan Vincent. Massive. Yes, and we all tarmac driveways as well. Such a dated opinion of Ireland, that, isn't it? All the cliches there from Alan Vincent, well, he could do with a bit of luck right now.
Yeah, he's a great bloke, Alan. Very, very, very popular.
And
He's been nice to have around today, to be sure. And Donaldson makes an all-in call. What's he got? Well, he's got a queen nine. Has he lost his mind? He's played really well so far. And Ram likes it because he's got the ace queen. The only card that's looking good for Donaldson right now is a 9. That's what he's going to have to hit, John.
He's made a very strong move there. He's unfortunate to run into ace queen.
And he doesn't hit it so far. Vaswani liking the shape of this, and he's building up some serious chips, and Sean Donaldson could be saying goodbye to that chance of the money he was talking about earlier. In fact, if he doesn't hit the 9 in the river, he'll be making the short journey home. And Ram will fancy his chances, and he will do now. He's got the chips. Sean Donaldson has it. He get caught with the ace queen.
That's more ammo for Ram, very experienced player at the table.
His prize money, €9,800.
It is getting hot in here. 4 players left. Liffey, Vaswani, Vincent and Drummond. Nice guy, really nice guy. We've enjoyed having him about today.
Blinds are now 48,000 in this round. Rory's first take. He passes and then raises to 50,000.
Vincent then, he raises with his queen 8 suited, and he's not going to like what he's seeing in Ram's hand. He's went all in. And Vincent's called it. Would you call that, John?
Well, he's short stacked. He's got to take a gamble. He's kind of had enough. Whenever he makes a move, he walks into a bigger hand.
And he has a chance.
He's a bit dejected, I think.
Well, he'd have a chance if it wasn't for the ace coming out for Vaswani. And he's got the 8. All it's going to say here is an 8 or a queen. That's what he's looking for. Forget the flush. The 4's no good. We could be down to 3 players here. Alan Vincent stands up and he can now walk. Absolutely no good to him whatsoever. And the aces of Vaswani takes it. And he is the Terminator. And his latest victim is Alan Vincent.
Even with mediocre hands when you're 3-handed.
Of course, the number of players will dictate the quality of your hand. Hands that you maybe fold when there's 8 players at the table.
Yeah.
You'll love when there's 3 players.
Yeah, I mean, what have we got? We've got 5 and 10,000 blinds and 1,000 running ante. So let's see how everybody plays.
Let's see if that theory will be borne out here. We got a queen 9, sort of a middle hand. Drummond calls that 3-handed.
Yeah, and Ram's calling as well.
7-2, something like that. 9-6, not far off. And it looks like it could be, and a check means it's a cheap flop, so it's all going to come down to that flop. A lot of 9s, a lot of 6s is going to cause some betting.
Flop comes 8-7-4.
Okay, so Rory's flopped the nut straight. 5-6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Dream flop for him.
20,000.
And Ram's betting it with an open-ended straight. He hasn't hit anything yet at all.
It's a nice feeling when people come out betting into you when you've got the nuts.
Liffey, of course, is going to bet this. The decision he'd be making now, Mr. Duthie, is does he raise at this stage or does he just reel them in?
Yeah, well, he's thinking very carefully about it. He's working out how to get the most money out of this.
And Rory calls.
So he's just calling it. Very sensible play by Liffey. And Drummond with his queen 9 has got to say goodnight to this hand. But Vaswani's stack could take a bit of a beating here. Even if he hits a straight, it ain't going to help. There's only a split pot for him and he hasn't hit that.
8-7-4.
Well, let's see if he can smell out. Yeah, Ram's too experienced. He's sussed.
And the last card that comes is a queen. No good for Vaswani. Is he going to try and steal the pot? That's exactly what he's going to do. And he's going to walk into this straight of Liffey. Rory has to raise, John.
All in.
And he calls all in. I'm getting quite good at this. I might start playing the game.
Yeah,
Vaswani can't call that. The hand's over. Liffey takes a whole lot of chips and he's in a much better position than he was at the start of this particular hand. Ram's stack shrinks.
Yeah, Rory played it well. He got an extra 20 grand in there by playing it slowly.
Lovely, it's shaping up very nicely. Rory Liffey, the hometown boy, closing in on Ram Vaswani. The pressure of playing poker around your tables in your living room or your dining room or at your local small club is nothing when there's so much money. Hundreds of thousands of euros up for grabs here, and more importantly, a seat at the final of the European Poker Tour in Monte Carlo later this year. one of these three players will be going, all expenses paid.
The big blind.
And we got some massive cards on board, three-handed at the moment. Vaswani calls just with an ace jack. Rory raises with his ace king.
And Ram announces all in.
And Ram goes all in, and Liffey has got to like it. He maybe put him in a pair of queens, pair of jacks at best.
Well, Ram's trapped himself here. He's basically called on the small blind. Rory's raised and Ram's moved all in. And Rory's called. It's a sort of self-play hand, very similar to hands that we've seen before in London and in Barcelona.
Here we go. The jack is needed for Ram Vaswani. Will he get it in the flop? He won't. 4s and 10s come out. No more bets, please. Because Liffey's all in. Vaswani has him covered. The turn card's a king. Liffey's hit his king. And Vaswani needs a queen that isn't a diamond, because Liffey would hit his flush.
Yep, and there it is. It's a diamond. He makes the nut flush. Those two hands pretty much played themselves. That's, well done, Rory.
Yes, Liffey is rocking and Ram is reeling. Rory Liffey then with over 500,000 chips. He's sitting pretty at the moment, and the only eyes he needs to look at is Ram. 311,000, about 200,000 between them. With the blind so high, with the cards being dealt, it could disappear in the blink of one hand. Both these players guaranteed a lovely kitty, but only one guaranteed an all-expenses paid trip to the final of the PokerStars.tv European Poker Tour.
Okay, so Ram's come in with call with King 5.
6-3-6.
And that's against Queen 3. Liffey on 2 pairs at this stage.
Yeah, he's thinking about what to do with it.
Of course, only 2 cards in the pack are going to be better than him at the moment. That's the 2 6s, which Vaswani doesn't have. Liffey makes the bet. Vaswani's got a great poker mind, John. He's got a reading everyone around this table to a certain extent, all day.
Yeah, no, he's making it out that he's got a very strong hand here. He's only doubled Rory's bet here, so Rory's thinking, could he have a 6? Oh, this is strong play. That is really strong play. Very strong play.
Vaswani outwitted in that hand, doubled Rory's bet. Rory raises again, Vaswani folds.
Yeah, I mean, the Ram doubled the bet trying to pretend that he had a 6. And Rory just didn't believe him and came back over the top. Ram can't call.
This goes to show the 2 players that we have here at the table, playing at the top of the game at the moment. A joy to watch. Let's see what Ram's got in his hand.
Okay, he's reaching for chips. It's like 30,000.
Ram raises to 36,000.
On the
36.
On the King 9 suit of the hearts.
Yeah. Okay. So Rory's already got 12,000 in this pot, so he's got,
a vested interest to call.
Yeah, he has. He's got another 24 to call.
Seat 2, Rory Liffey. Seat 8, Ram Vaswani. They can see the whites of each other's eyes at all times.
Okay, so he's
Call by Rory.
And no wonder he has with the ace queen.
72,000.
Yeah, it's a huge hand. I mean, he's been outdrawn on the flop, but that was a big hand on the flop.
Well, let's see what happens. Of course, the 9s of Vaswani, strong at the moment.
Yeah, but there's 3 spades on there, so they're both going to be nervous about the spades.
Exactly. Scare cards aplenty on the flop, and the turns the 3 of clubs, and if they check that flop, it'll be interesting to see what happens now.
Rory's looking at him. He's trying to give, he's eyeing him up, trying to see whether his hand's still winning.
And he might fancy his ace queen at this stage.
Well, he doesn't bet. He's bet 50,000. Ram's thinking. Okay, he didn't bet on the flop. He's thinking, so maybe he hasn't got a jack. Maybe my 9's still good. I'm going to call. Okay, that's what he does.
So the river, all important here. Liffey needs it to be a lifeline.
River card. King of diamonds.
Okay, that's made Ram 2 pair. Let's see what Rory does here. He's first to act.
All in.
He's called all in.
Yeah, but no, Ram's called.
In a millisecond, he's called this, and everything is changed. Vaswani, massive chip leader. He takes a pot of over 500,000 chips, and Liffey's made a blunder. He's walked into that 2 pair of Vaswani, which he hit on the river. A massive hand, John.
Oh, massive. I mean, Rory's been really... Look, I mean, you can see it in his face. He realises it's just bad timing. I mean, it's just unfortunate timing. He's made a really, really aggressive move. Ram couldn't have possibly called with a one pair or anything else. Unfortunately, he made two pair, so he takes the chip lead. Okay, the blinds are at 6,000, 12,000.
Texas Hold'em poker is a 7-card game, so it's very important to remember that. The river's as valid as any other card, and Ram was loving it that time.
Yeah, Rory's down to, he's down to sort of 260,000 now, so.
And he's got suited Jack 10, and he's gone up against the Jack 10 of clubs.
Yeah, they've both got exactly the same hand. Well, obviously not exactly the same. They've both got suited jacks, 10 jack. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
This is fantastic, this hand, because if the clubs and spades stay away, it'll be interesting to see the different styles of playing exactly the same hand, and they've done exactly that. Okay.
Yeah, but they've both flopped the open-ended straight draw. Now, if Ram bets it like he did before, he'll go all in, because he bet the... Yeah, there we go. He bet exactly the same way before, and now Rory's got a very difficult decision. He's got to... he's got to call or fold, and Ram's put the real pressure on here. This is a second place call he's got to make here. If he loses, he's out. Great poker.
Rory's certainly thinking about it, but you imagine he might lay these down.
The way he looked at his cards there, it looked like he was going to lay them down.
And he does just that.
Yep.
And he throws them aggressively in the direction of Ram.
Yep, I think he intended them to flip over. I think he wanted to actually show them.
I was trying to flick him over.
Yep.
Not trying to cut your head off of that. Well, there we go. We've seen him play aggressively the whole way through, so play some great poker and coming to heads up, Liffey in a lovely situation. But let me tell you something, you'll learn this watching poker on the television. When Ram Vaswani's at the table, you're never safe. Such a great player, and one of the, if not the leading player, the Hendon mob, and all of them you wouldn't want to come up against on a Saturday night with 300 quid in your back pocket, let me tell you.
Well, these are both top quality professional poker players. And it's anybody's game. Rory's really under pressure now.
To quote a terrible film, they're the best of the best. Certainly they are in Dublin here at the European Poker Tour. And the ace fives, Ram might fancy that. He might fancy the ace heads up, and he's went all in he has. And Liffey's got to like this, the pair of fours.
Well, but he knows it's a very, very difficult pair to play even heads up. I mean, he'll have to play them because he knows he's winning, and it's just if when you're feeling a little bit down on your luck, you don't really want to call with a pair of fours. If you're feeling very bullish, you're happy to call because you just don't think anybody's going to hit their overcards.
So you've heard it. It is a state of mind at the moment for Liffey, and he's
had it. Look, he's called. He just said, "Oh, I can't be bothered. I'm probably winning. I'm going to take the risk." And look, he's an even. He's even money. It's pretty much an even money shot. I mean, Rory's a slight favourite, very slight favourite to these two overcards. But let's see what happens.
We could be saying goodbye from Dublin, and we will be now by the looks of it. The ace comes out, and all it's going to see if Liffey is a 4.
Turn card.
The turn card is a 7. 2 per for Liffey. Vaswani's got the ace. Rory's put his coat on, and that is because he's going home. And we've had something of a masterclass of poker here in Dublin. Guess what? We're paying for Ram Vaswani to go to Monte Carlo to the final of the European Poker Tour as if he needs it. He's just padded out his bank balance, and Rory Liffey says goodbye. He only lives round the corner, but it's going to be a long walk home. Our winner of the third leg, Ram Vaswani. And very popular. It might not be Irish, but they loved him here, and he goes home with 93,000 euros. Rory 46, and Jamie's happy, 23,000 euros. Everyone's a winner here.
I felt great all the way. Things went right today. Everything sort of clicked into place. It was, it's great. I've been to Ireland a couple of times now. The people are great. The atmosphere is great. You see for yourself, and love it.
Rory didn't quite take the glory.
No, I've run into a great player heads up. I made a horrendous mistake earlier when I doubled them up, and that changed the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you pay for your mistakes, and live and learn, I suppose.
Well, congratulations.
Okay, thank you, Caroline.
Vaswani.
So our sponsors, PokerStars.tv, hand over a European Poker Tour check to Ram Vaswani for €93,000. That's all from